Three, two, one now. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Welcome back to the NC Preps Live Preps Report. I'm Tali Hagler. I'm here with Brianna Broome, Chelsea Sipple, and Jack Leary. I think we have some awesome content tonight. I know Jack went to see private school that started this past week, and just everybody's getting ready, hopefully. Some sports starting in November. Just teams all over getting ready. And Chris, I'll hand it to you.
Hey, great job bringing us in tonight, Tali. I knew you'd do a great job and got the crew together. It must be Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Really excited to talk some prep sports. And we've got a lot of news that's come about. I know, Dina, you had put some information out there about some big basketball coverage that we've got coming on. And I've always said you're the queen of basketball in this state. I pale in comparison to my knowledge compared to what you know on the hoop scene. Tell us about it, Dina.
Well, Jamie Shaw, who is very well known in the Carolinas, reached out to me yesterday, and he's wanting to help out with some basketball coverage here in North Carolina and South Carolina. So he's going to be working with NC Preps and Palmetto Preps and providing some hoops coverage at events, some recruiting news on the hoops side of things. So it's a great opportunity. Jamie's probably one of the best in this area that knows the ins and outs of all these kids. Travels around to several events. He told me I was trying to get him on tonight for our special guest, and he said he'd love to, but he's supposed to be in an open gym tonight. So you can't fault that. He's getting the latest info and trying to help these kids on the hardwood like we try to do on the football field. So
and we had him on Talking Preps with Charlotte Observer a few weeks ago as well, breaking down some camp action, I believe it was, from Rock Hill. So, I mean, he certainly knows his stuff when it comes to the hardwood. And, man, that could only enhance what we've got going on here. And so great job in making that happen.
Thanks. Jack, I want to throw something to you because you are constantly on the internet. Tell our viewers today some big recruiting news, basketball-wise, in North Carolina. Fill us in on that.
There were actually 3 top 15 players in North Carolina who committed this week. First, Breon Pass, who is a two-sport athlete at Reedsville and announced a while back that he'll be pursuing college basketball, and he committed to NC State a few days ago. And then yesterday, Dalen Berry from Panther Creek High School announced that he'll be going to UNC Charlotte. And then the big one today, DeMarco Dunn, who is a top 3 player in the state from Westover High School, announced that he'll be going to UNC. So three guys right there that top 15 players in the state, and DeMarco Dunn and Dontrez Styles can be said to be the top 2 players in the state. And the last time that the top 2 players in the state and of North Carolina were committed to UNC was 2013, and those 2 guys won a national championship with the Tar Heels. So maybe that'll happen again. I think Dontrez and DeMarco will make a great duo at North Carolina.
Hey, great job, Jack. Staying on top of that, the recruiting news, so many people out there wanting to know where the next stars are coming from. And that's one of the reasons, I'm so big into the prep scene. It's because you get to see tomorrow's stars today. And when you get the scoop on the news like that, get it out there, that's awesome. We're going to start with you tonight, though, Chelsea. I know you've been working hard, and it seems like the last several nights, I just feel like you've always been going last. So I want to give you a chance to kind of start the show and really kind of kick things off this evening. Tell us what's been going on with you, any news coming out of the Raleigh area, and tell us all who you talked with this week.
Not much going on from Raleigh, but I did Jared Wilson from West Forsyth, and he is a Georgia football commit. So I heard about him on some rankings and then reached out to him.
Cool. Let's go ahead and roll that video. I can't wait to look at it. And good job.
All right.
Let's roll the footage.
All right, thank you so much for joining. And for those watching this segment, this is Jared Wilson, class of 2021 at West Forsyth, and you are a Georgia commit and a 4-star offensive tackle. So I'll get started with the first question, and that is, what keeps you motivated throughout the season?
Honestly, what keeps me motivated during these times, honestly, just the grit and just wanting to play football. I'll line up anytime, any day of the week. I want to play some ball.
All right. What has the recruiting process been like? And since you're a Georgia commit, what about Georgia made it the school for you?
Honestly, Georgia, the coaching staff it's like a big family over there. It's a great coaching staff. University of Georgia has a great history. I have a connection with all the coaches, even the defensive coaches, and that means a lot to me. And also, when they were recruiting me real hard, they also recruited my mother, and not just me. They talked to my mother on a daily basis. FaceTime, text, calls, checking on her, checking on me and my brothers. Talk to my brothers all the time. So they're a real family type of group.
That's what a great school does. How have the changes in schedule from COVID impacted your upcoming season, and how have you worked around that?
It's affected me. I wouldn't really say it's affected me. The only thing it would have affected is the football season.
Yeah.
The way I've been working around it is, working out a lot more. I spend more time with my buddies since we have a lot more free time since this COVID thing is happening and all that. But I just work out a lot more. Work out around 5 times a week and try and stay busy and not really trying to stay in the house. Because if I stay in the house, I get real bored and it's just not fun at all.
Yeah, I feel you. What's one thing you want to focus on before transitioning into college football?
Honestly, probably getting up early. I need to start working on that, getting up real early because the workouts. When I get there, whenever I do get there, it's gonna wear me down a little bit. Waking up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, going to work out. But if I work on it now, then I'll get used to it by then.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And then finally, how would you describe yourself as an athlete and a person?
As an athlete, probably very versatile. I can do a lot of things. I'm very athletic. As a person, I'm a big kid.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have for this segment. Thank you so much for joining, and best of luck this upcoming season. And congrats on your commitment.
Thank you.
Wow, what a great player, Chelsea. Great interview. Proud of what you did there, and he is a phenomenal football player. And he kind of said something that resonates with me that I feel like I need to do a better job. Probably all of us. I'm not the one that wants to get up at 5 every morning. I feel like I do my best to get up at 6. So that's certainly something that's going to have to be changed for him when he gets there to Athens. But great job as always. I expect nothing less out of you. We're going to kick it over to at least my favorite named segment. I love them all, but Brianna, balling with Brianna. I still love what you do. I love the name. I just think it's just got some some flair to it. Tell us who you spoke to this week.
This week I did Travali Price, who is a 2021 graduate of North Lincoln High School, and he just committed over the summer to NC State to play football. He's a really humble and kind person. He's up for the Big 22, WSOC TV's Big 22. So I just wanted to interview him because I've gone to school with him, since middle school, and we've been together for a long time. And he's a really sweet person. So I wanted to interview him and talk to him about how he's handling a commitment and a Big 22 in Lincoln County.
Cool. Hey, and before we roll the footage, I just want to show the response that we have had. People watching the show right now, looking at the tracker, we've got about 60 people looking at it live, which I think is pretty cool. And we just got this message from Roy Goodman, and I know him because he runs a prep site and does a lot of prep reporting up in Indiana. And just the fact that we've got somebody from out of state checking out the work you guys are doing, I think is pretty cool. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys that little tidbit to let you know that, hey, what you're doing, people are taking notice. Coaches have said, hey, can you have these guys call up some of our players? So, hey, just know that what you're doing is a pretty cool gig, and We appreciate it. But Brianna, let's go ahead and roll that footage and look at your interview.
All right. I'm with Tali Price, a 2021 graduate of North Lincoln High School who is recently committed to NC State over the summer. So Tali, over the summer, I know, and starting that last year, you had a bunch of offers from schools all over the country as far as Arizona. So how did you, being a humble person that you are, how did you handle going to school as a regular student and having to come on Friday nights and just play, living up to the hype of your name?
Well, what I did was I just avoided, any like negative stuff or positive stuff. I just stayed in my own lane and I just focused on the prize, and that's going to the next level and just playing as best I could play, and have fun doing it,
So how does your commitment to NC State affect your daily routine and workouts?
Nothing really. Nothing's really changed. I just do the same thing I've always done, which has got me here so far. So.
Okay. So you were also nominated by WSOC TV's Big 22, which is their list of the top 22 players in the Carolinas. So how does it feel to be recognized by someone outside of Lincoln County and the North Lincoln community?
I feel, grateful. I'm thankful for all the recognition, it's all great and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you just got to keep working and be the best I can be, have fun doing it. It's the main part.
So what were you looking for in a school, and ultimately why did you choose NC State?
Because I wanted to play with my brother, that was a big factor. And besides that, anywhere I was to go, I'd have great academics, everything would have been okay, but State just felt right, it felt like home. The coach there, Coach Wiles, he's a great guy, and the whole staff's great, but I can't get hooked on just the staff because you never know when they could leave or not, so it was mainly because of my brother.
Okay. So thank you, Tali, and I can't wait to see you on Friday nights, and good luck in college.
Thank you.
All right, Brianna. Great video. I love the addition of the videos and the huddle video in there. I think that only really enhances that. And boy, is that a big man or
Yes.
what? And I say man, probably more like a man-child. He looks like he's already ready
Yes,
to
for
get there
sure.
to the
We
next
went out
level.
to dinner later that night with a group of friends, and he was there, and he was like, "Man, you look so short next to me in that video." I was like, "I know, you were towering over me."
All right, I got to ask this. You guys went out to dinner. How much does a big boy like that eat? Because I'm
It
sure
didn't
it's a
take him
hefty
long.
meal.
Oh, he had a big plate of Mexican. It did not take him but 5 minutes to eat it, for sure.
Wow, great job. Hey, we're going to switch things up a little bit tonight and kind of shift the order around. Dina, I wanted to kind of talk to you. Obviously, we mentioned at the top of the show that you were up in Asheville at Asheville High School, which I think is probably about it, the most picturesque football stadium in the state. I mean, you don't talk about an incredible facility. The 100-plus-year-old school right there in the background, the mountains off to the other end, just the bowl, the fact that it seats about 15,000 people, and that's not even including the hill. You had a great time, and I think you guys, from what I could gather, had a lot of good talent, not only from North Carolina, but from some people from some neighboring states as well, Dina.
There were about around 100 kids, and that was, in talking to you guys earlier, that was a great centralized location, not only for Western North Carolina, but the whole southeastern type region. There were kids there from Knoxville, Tennessee, down in Georgia, Greenville, South Carolina, and even up in Virginia that made the trip down to Asheville. And like you said, a beautiful stadium. It was my first time ever at Asheville High School, and I hate that I hadn't been there before because a great facility, great hospitality. Coach there, Coach Radford, was awesome. I think Vince and him talked, and I believe it's going to be a yearly thing to get VTO up there in the Asheville area to help the kids in the western part of the state get recruited. There were 3 colleges there. Mars Hill was there, Emory Henry was there, and Ramah JUCO was there. And so that was a great time for them to evaluate some of these kids because they're limited now. They can watch all they want on live stream and on tape, but to see some of these kids in person, and I come away impressed. There's a few kids that really had a great, outstanding camp. So you can go to the website and check out the testing results, the award winners, and it was just a great time to be up there in Asheville. The weather was great after having like 90 and 95 plus days on the turf field and the other camps. It was quite refreshing to have a mid-70 overcast skies up there in Asheville.
Yeah, and I think Vince obviously does a great job. We've seen the work that he's done down in Matthews and traveling around the camp circuit around North Carolina. So he's done a great job, and I knew that it would be an incredible success in Asheville because obviously they take their football extremely serious in that part of the state. But Dina, tell us, we got a little video of some of the interviews you have put together. Kind of give me a breakdown. Who are some of the guys you spoke to this week?
Well, I spoke to Dawson Cox, who is from Ashe County. I believe he's one of the top Western North Carolina quarterbacks, maybe even statewide. I mean, he's stuck up there in the mountains, so maybe his name is not as known as some of the other guys. But dude threw for 3,000 yards and led Ashe County to a really good season, and he's back. Spoke to him. I also spoke to Dakota Tweedy, who was the highest ranked kid there. We had a little audio problem with his interview, so his interview is not with the other 3 that I had, but Dakota is like I said, a highly ranked 2022 wide receiver out of Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy up there in Mooresboro, North Carolina, and he's got 20 plus D1 offers. He won the MVP of the wide receiver group. I also spoke with Mark Golden, who's an outstanding linebacker for AC Reynolds up there at Asheville. Coach, he told me, he said, Mark Golden, I believe I might have said Roger, but Mark Golden was outstanding. He won the linebacker award. And then Coach Radford's defensive lineman, Thomas McDonough, a 6'5" defensive end for Asheville. He came away with the defensive line MVP, and he is committed to Yale. And I just had to ask him about that. But anytime a kid can commit to a school like Yale, an Ivy League school, I had to get his thoughts on that. So those are the kids that I interviewed, and this is what they had to say.
All right, great job. And hey, and as you guys can see, we've got some comment. So I don't know who Papa Lettuce is, and he also says Dina is the goat, and then we know he means the good kind of goat too.
Who knows? Who knows?
And there's Andrew Jones saying Dina rocks. So Dina, you got some fans out there, and guys, this is a very interactive show. We've got obviously you got some quotes coming in there from both Facebook and from YouTube. So I think that's a really cool feature. But Dina, hey, let's go ahead and check out the interviews and see what these guys have to say.
Dina King here with NC Preps, Rivals.com here at beautiful Asheville High School. We got one of the top quarterbacks in Western North Carolina, 2021, Dawson Cox from Ashe County. How are you doing today, Dawson?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So what are you hoping to accomplish today?
Just come out here, have a good time, and get some competition in.
Ashe County, you led the Huskies to a really good year last year, coming off a great junior year. What are you hoping to do again when you get to finally play this spring?
Obviously, just go undefeated in the conference again and make a deep run in the playoffs if we get that chance.
Recruiting-wise, what schools have you heard from, and what's your plans there?
I got offer from Lenore Ryan, just some D2 schools around there, Mars Hill, West Virginia State, some D1 FCSs reached out, but it's pretty all over the place right now.
That's Dawson Cox from Ashe County High School up in West Jefferson, North Carolina. Good luck to you today, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Dina King here, NC Preps with AC Reynolds, linebacker, class of 2021, Mark Golden. How are you doing today, Mark?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
What are you hoping to accomplish today at this camp?
Just to get better. That's always the goal. Just to come out here and just get better at things you can get better at.
AC Reynolds, a powerhouse up here in the mountains. What are you hoping for the upcoming season? What's one of your major goals for the Rockets this year?
Just to come out with another conference championship and just to get as far as we can go. Hopefully we'll make it deep in the playoffs this year. I think we have a good chance of doing that.
For a college looking at Mark Golden, what are your strengths on the football field?
I got good downhill speed and good contact when I hit you. I can cover really good. And I think I'm just a good overall linebacker. Recruiting-wise,
have you been getting any interest from any schools?
I was just recently offered by West Virginia State University a couple of days ago, but that's on my only offer.
Well, good luck, and that's Mark Golden, a 2021 linebacker from AC Reynolds up here in Asheville. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dina King here, NC Preps. I have 2021 defensive lineman Tama McDonough from Asheville High School here, the host school for this great event. So how you doing, Tama?
I'm doing great. It's awesome to get some competition.
So today, what are you hoping to get out of today's event?
Honestly, I was just missing football, and I really want to get back to it, and I got invited here, so it seemed like an awesome opportunity.
So the competition, a great facility here at Asheville. I'm glad we could come up this way. Asheville, what do you hope to accomplish this year for the upcoming season?
Honestly, the goal is always, get to state, but we got a new coach, so I'm just hoping we come out strong and get some wins as they come.
Recruiting-wise, you are a Yale commit, so when did you decide that you wanted to go to the Ivy League, and what factors was it to decide you to pick Yale?
Well, it was I decided about a week or two ago, and for me, the elite education will set me up for life. They've got a great program there, and they also really emphasized growing me as a football player, which seemed like I was just getting the best of both worlds. So that, and they also wanted me to play defense, which is the position I wanted to play in college. So that was my deciding factors.
So are you hoping when things open up possibly to, have you ever been to Yale? Have you been on campus?
I've never been to campus, but I've taken some virtual tours, and my family was, my sisters were on a trip up to Maine, and they went through there and went on a little FaceTime virtual tour too. So I've seen some of it, and they want to get me up to campus when that's safe to do so.
When the pandemic. This is Tama McDonald from Asheville High, 2021 defensive end. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hey, that young man right there is heading to Yale. I think he's going to have a pretty successful future coming up. You can just tell how well spoken the guy was during that interview. Incredible job, Dina. We did have this message come up while the video was going. How many people again? Was it about 100 athletes that showed up at the camp?
Yeah, it was about 100, maybe a little bit over 100. But it was multiple states. We had kids from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Virginia. So, Chris, you've gone to a lot of games up in Western North Carolina. I was glad to see some of the kids come from schools that I've personally went with my team, my high school team, like the Swain counties, the Hendersonvilles of the world. And, there were some kids that come from the Piedmont Triad up there. A kid from Ledford has come up there, and he had a great camp up there. So this coming week is supposed to be in Richmond. We're still kind of in limbo about that. We're hoping to have enough kids to have the camp up in Richmond, Virginia. But after Richmond, we're really excited. We'll be in the Piedmont Triad, right almost in Chris's backyard at the BB&T soccer facility there in Advance, North Carolina, right on the Forsyth, Davie County line. I expect that camp to have a bunch of talent there.
Yeah, and also just wanted to show this one comment as well. Roy Goodman also said, "What a great background for that."
I agree.
Asheville, and we've already kind of overstated that, but can't continue to say that enough. So, man, great job, Dina. Again, you are the GOAT, and I mean the good kind for real. But hey, it looks like we lost Chelsea. Jack, we're going to go to you now. You had a chance, and hey, Chelsea's back. The Magic TV. You had a chance to see some live football Friday night, as did I. I had to go south of the border to do it, but you saw some football here in our own state, some private school ball. Tell us about that game and how much fun was it?
Well, that was a lot of fun to go back to a game, even though it was raining. The game was between Parrott and St. David's. Parrott and Kinston, who was the home team, playing against St. David's in the Raleigh area. Going into the game, I think the Parrott was supposed to be like the favorite to win. I think Parrott was supposed to be one of the better teams in the state. St. David's kind of they weren't supposed to be horrible, but St. David's really showed out to. I thought they were super well coached. They got their athletes in space, and I thought that on defense, they only had, I think they only had 15 or 16 kids on the team, but every single one of those kids made their time on the field count. And so I got a chance to talk to the head coach at St. David's and the player of the game, Meet Good, who had 3 touchdowns and an interception.
Well, before I run the video, you made the comment that you thought they were well coached. Now, you're the son of a successful coach, and I know you've been around this game of football, and you know what good coaching looks like when you see it. Kind of give us an example of what you mean just in the coaching aspect and what it was that kind of gave St. David's that edge.
Well, I thought, obviously, that was my first ever 8-man football game ever. But you pick up fast that one guy can take over a game very fast, and the coach for St. David's found out that it was Meet Good's night, and he got him in space, while I think Parrott didn't get some of their athletes in space, even though they stuck to their game, which their quarterback could. I mean, he was just insane going from the pocket. But St. David's was able to get their athletes in space, and I don't think anybody punted in the game, so it's not like field position was a big factor. But I thought they tackled really well, and the main thing was being able to get Meet Good in space and letting him touch the ball a bunch. Even though second half he was cramped up. So, but in the first half, he had all 3 of his touchdowns in the first half. So, they jumped out and kept the lead to win 40-27.
One last question, Jack, before we roll the video. First game ever for you in a media contributing role. There's a correspondent. Kind of give us, what was your thoughts? They're watching the game from a little bit of a different perspective, going up, doing your interviews. How well do you feel like you did, and what have you learned from that experience to maybe carry that on to do some other games?
Yeah. So there were no fans allowed, so it was just the media. So it was me and maybe like 2 other people sitting in the stands, and it was raining. So I got my good friends Brian Hanks to get me a roster of both of the teams, and I basically recorded every single play from, not every single game, but almost a lot of the plays from the games. So I was updating the story on Instagram for the game, for touchdowns, interceptions, all that kind of stuff. And then when the game was over, I went down to the field. Obviously, I wanted to interview Meek and the head coach of the winning team, which would be St. David's. And it was me and Nick Stevens from high school OT who were down there doing interviews. Nick did his interview first, and I got my 2 interviews, and we went back to Richlands, North Carolina. I would say the biggest thing to learn was probably, I don't know. I felt like I rushed myself a little bit, just because me being a teenage boy, I don't want to like waste people's time or like get on people's nerves or be annoying. So I felt like I just got to be more open to talking to people that I don't know, even though I did that. I just got to be more open to that.
All right. Well, good job. Let's go ahead and watch the video and see how you did. We appreciate the hard work.
All right. We're here with St. David's coach after they just got the 40-27 win over Arundel Parrott. How does it feel to finally get your team on the field in a game situation?
Man, I mean, to be honest with you, we never thought this day would come. If you would have asked me about a month or 2 ago, I would have said there's no way we're playing ball. And so I know how badly our kids wanted to be out here and how much work that especially the senior class has put in leading up to this moment. And so just to get them on the field, I told them, you never know when your last play in football is. And so we were really taking that to heart this year. And so just any game we get a chance to play is such a blessing. So we're super grateful. And to come out here and win against a great team like Parrott is, it's hard to put into words. I mean, I'm just super proud of my guys.
Yeah. What were some major factors that you saw on the field tonight that gave you guys some success?
Well, I mean, the weather helps a little bit. They have a very dynamic offense. That quarterback, I was watching him in warm-ups. He can really spin it. Dawson, I'm blanking on his name, but he's a good player, and he's gonna have them back and rolling. They've got some other good skill position players. They're big up front. They're always a physical, well-coached team. But I think getting Meek good in space early was huge for us. He's a game breaker. And anytime we can get a chance to get him the rock and let him go to work, that's a win for us. So that was I think that was the game plan going in, giving guys a chance to get rolling, and we were lucky enough to break off a couple early and get some momentum.
Yeah, and talking a little bit more about Meek, after he had that insane first half, He didn't really play that much in the second half. How are you guys adjusting to that?
Well, when you're making dynamic plays all over the field, defense, offense, special teams, I mean, inevitably, especially early in the season, you're gonna probably struggle with cramps or fatigue in some way. And so we were working as hard as we could to get those cramps out. But he was pretty locked up the whole second half. So we really had to transition our game plan and really feature, Cole Deal getting downhill and Fort Everett getting downhill. And they did a nice job adjusting to some of our jet sweep stuff. And so we just really had to make adjustments as well. And lucky for me, our guys like Fort Everett made an unbelievable catch down here at the goal line that really bailed us out. And, when you got guys that are committed to it and work hard and go make plays, makes you look good as a coach, even if you're not doing too much.
For sure. And as you look ahead to the season, further into the year, what are some things that you guys can improve on?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of work to do defensively. Unfortunately, when you're operating with low numbers, it's really hard to get a lot of live tackling in practice, and that showed up. I mean, it showed up pretty clearly on the field. So really honing in on the way we tackle, some of the fundamentals defensively, figuring out our scheme and figuring out what suits us. But the thing I'm most proud of is the resiliency. We'll get in there and we'll fix some things, but when you got a team that's willing to come back after getting punched in the mouth time and again, you're pretty happy. So.
We're here with St. David's standout Meek Good. Meek, how's it feel just to get out here and get a win tonight?
It feels great, man. We never thought this moment would come. So coming out here and getting a win in the rain on Friday feel good.
Also, what were some key factors that led you to have 3 touchdowns and just have a huge game for St. David's?
My blockers, they had the outside contain, and they gave me green grass.
Awesome.
All right, hey, great job there, Jack. Appreciate the hard work. And Dina, I want to get your thoughts on it because obviously you've been covering football for a long time. I think Jack did a great job with this first game coverage. I just kind of want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I was following him on the Instagram page, getting updates Friday night from there. It's a little bit different when you're actually covering a game rather being a spectator or something. So you got to when I did my stats and everything, I tell people, you really can't enjoy the game. You're there to do a job. You're there. You have to keep up with so many things when you're working at the game instead of being a spectator. But I think Jack did a really good job. I'm glad he got his first thing of action. I'm sure he was really excited and nervous, but he handled it like a pro. So I think he'll and the rest of them will be really good when they get to get out there on their own and do some interviews.
Yeah, I agree. With Tali, we've kind of kept you here to the very end. You brought us in tonight. You did a great job kind of driving the bus and getting us started. But I haven't forgot about you. I know you've got your interview that you conducted this week. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you talked about and get us rolling this video.
Yeah, so I talked to Carson Overbeck. She's from Carborough High School, and she's a volleyball athlete. And to my knowledge, we haven't had any volleyball athletes on the show so far. I thought it was really important to get a volleyball player in here just because we're one of the first sports to start back here in November. And I know that at my school, we're working really hard to get ready for that date. And it's tough just because you have tryouts, and then a week later, you got your first game. So I just wanted to see how she was preparing. She's a UNC volleyball commit. Super friendly, and she had a lot of great things to say.
Cool. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and Brianna, I'm going to bring you on here. I think you might have had a couple volleyball girls in the first week.
Yeah, I had 2 in the first week, and then I think a week or 2 ago, I interviewed another one of the girls at my school.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was the case, and I wasn't trying to short circuit. I should not have done that. That's probably something you don't do. But I remembered that we had the volleyball guys on here.
I recall it.
I just wanted to bring that on. Well, hey, appreciate what you guys are doing, and let's go ahead and roll that video, Tali.
Hey, this is Tali with Time Out with Tali. I'm here with NC Preps, and today I'm going to be interviewing Carson Overbeck. She's a 2021 graduate from Carborough High School. I just want to read through some of her stats right quick. Her junior year, she had 80 sets, 220 kills, a .251 hitting percentage, 285 digs, and 91 aces. Carson, how would you describe your game?
Well, for school, high school, I have to play an outside hitter. So I think I would say I have to be really involved in play. For club, I play libero. So just being available for everything in the high school games is really important. Just being there for defense and offense.
Okay. What made you decide on UNC? I know you committed recently. What was behind that decision?
Right. So I grew up in Chapel Hill. I've lived in Chapel Hill my whole life, and I've known all the coaches over there for so long. And, going to UNC camps when I was like probably 8 years old, started going there. And I know the staff very well, love every single one of them. And I'm a diehard Tar Heel fan, so it was a pretty easy decision.
What do you plan to study when you go to Chapel Hill?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Not quite sure, but I think it would be really cool to be a physical therapist or maybe go kind of medicine. I think that would be cool.
From a recruiting standpoint, what do you have that other top tier volleyball players don't have?
I think something that I always try to do on the court is talk and use my voice and just be a good teammate to everybody, whether it's if I'm on the bench, encouraging people, helping them if they're struggling in games, just being right next to somebody, you know, in the huddle, just saying, hey, you got the next point if anybody messes up.
No, it looks like our video might have cut short, Tali.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did that. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Great job. I love the way you kind of interact during the interview. I think you've got your questions really on point, and you do a phenomenal job. And
Thank you.
Couldn't be more prouder. And Dean, I think you probably agree. You know, she's really kind of come along with her interviewing.
Sure do. Everybody. The improvement from the first show to now has been amazing.
Yes, I agree. And I just sent you guys a message in our little private chat here. I really think this is our best performance yet. We've had a lot of fan interaction. Just kind of want to pop a few things up here. Roy Goodman, once again, wanted to ask how many football programs there are in North Carolina and South Carolina. Public school, I think there's about 376 in North Carolina, somewhere give or take about that number. Private school and everything combined, it's probably closer to about 420, I think it is. South Carolina is much lower. I think South Carolina's only got about 220 football teams that play ball. I think that might be the right number. I might be off by just a little bit, but it's a little bit more than less than half of North Carolina. And then also John Vestal writes, and this is from YouTube, missed some of the show, but for any baseball players yet. So no, John, we haven't, to my knowledge. I don't think. Well, no, I take that back.
Jack had somebody.
Jack, you had a baseball player on a couple weeks ago, did you not?
I did.
He was a dual sport. He was
multiple sport athlete. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jaheim Brown from Lewisburg. Yeah, he plays baseball and football. But I definitely have been. I think I play baseball personally, so I've been looking. I know the number one baseball player in the country for 2022 went to Leesville Road High School, and I'm pretty sure he transferred to some academy, and I need to check if they're still in North Carolina. But I challenge accepted. I'll be looking for some baseball players.
And that goes for the rest of you guys. If you have any baseball players, hey, we can think about those as well. And, you know, they've got some fall balls, some travel ball, and some different things like that. So it does not have to be a high school seasoned player. And, you know, we can cover any prep. You know, preps just means to prep athletes. So we'll get on that, John. I appreciate your comment. And before we get out of here, I just got a couple of things that I wanted to kind of throw out there as well before I throw it over to you, Dina, to kind of give us any final thoughts on the show tonight. But I lost a really good friend of mine yesterday, a guy I've known for about 20 years or so ago, a gentleman named Rick Harrington. And I'm wearing the Mooresville hat and the Mooresville shirt today just for him. I met Rick probably back in the 1990s. He used to be the longtime video coordinator and video guy for the Blue Devil football team. And then, you know, just kind of transitioned into a big fan, had helped me a ton over the years with the Carolina Prep site before, you know, we transitioned over here to Rivals with Dina. But Rick had been a really good friend, and probably since 2009, he and I had lunch together probably about once a week. Typically, we go to the Whataburger there in Mooresville, but if you know, we kind of had a hankering for other stuff. We'd go to Bridges Barbecue in Shelby. We'd go to Lee's Sandwich Shop in Kannapolis, or up to Lexington Barbecue was one of his favorites, and Winks before it closed down. But just wanted to kind of give some memory to my good friend Rick Harrington, whose services will be this upcoming Saturday morning. We're going to miss him. He was definitely a huge fan of high school football, but just also a real contributor to high school football, and really put his time and efforts into helping the program at Mooresville. I know he was very active with Coach Mike Carter and Roger Seacrest even before Coach Carter, before he went over to North Rowan. So here's to you, Rick. You know, just thinking about you and your family. His son, Coach Wesley Harrington's the athletic director, J.M. Robinson. So, you know, football definitely runs in that family and athletics. So just wanted to kind of throw it out there to him. And just before we bring it here to everybody else, let me put this sign down here. Looks like we got one more comment before we get out of here. John says Hickory this weekend, so must have some baseball going on up in Hickory. Brianna, that's kind of up in your backyard. Maybe we can see what's going on.
For sure. I'll check it out and see what's going on around me and probably see if I can find any baseball players that are playing this weekend.
All right. We'll get after that, John. We appreciate your thoughts. And Dina, as always, I try to give you the final word on the show tonight. So anything on your mind, anything you want to tell all the fans out there watching, because we got a bunch of them. I'm looking at the counter right here. We've still got a lot of guys logged in, and we're about 45 minutes into the show, and I appreciate that, guys. But Dina, what's the word?
Well, just wanting everybody to keep doing what they're doing, staying safe, wearing the mask when they need to. There's been some progress in the state, so hopefully things are getting close to getting back to where they need to be. Big news about possibly schools and the elementary schools opening up, more fans coming into the college football games. So everybody just do your duty and be thoughtful of others and everything. As for NC Preps, as I started the show, check us out, ncpreps.com, the website. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Follow me, follow Chris, follow the gang here, Brianna, Tali, Jack, Chelsea, Jack. So we got a good gang here, and we're trying our best to help promote the student athletes of North Carolina.
For sure.
Right. Like you said, Chris, this has been, I think, definitely the best show yet. I can tell that each of us are learning and growing, just especially from getting our hands on this stuff. And we like to hear from our viewers too. We want feedback. We want to know what you guys like to hear, what you don't. So interact with us on social media. And stay safe, stay healthy. We hope that we'll see y'all on the field sometime. And we'll see y'all later. Come back next week.